Just quick overview, sir. Just looking into the book plan, what are some of the programs or agencies in the states that, under this budget plan, would see bigger cuts than the other ones?
Well, your biggest agencies and your biggest departments would see the biggest funding reductions. State Board of Education, for example, would see significant but sustainable reductions in general state aid and early childhood education. Public universities have to get by with less. We decrease Medicaid spending by reforming the program, moving to a private insurance style of coverage. Statutory transfers out, blind cash aid payments to dozens of different funds across the state see a significant reduction. That's where most of our savings come from.
How exactly would that work? You talked about them presenting how their organizations or agencies are doing. Go on ahead and explain that further.
Well, sure. There are effectively two alternatives, two models, we believe, that Illinois could follow. One is the program assessment review tool part of the federal program, where each agency and actually each particular program fills out a detailed, uniform 25-item questionnaire so that we can have an apples-to-apples comparison between programs that are seemingly distinct. And then once that's submitted, they're given a score, a grade. And that gives you a rubric by which to prioritize spending. The Obama administration just did something very similar with its Invest in Innovation Grant Fund Award, again, where organizations, private and public, submitted proposals according to a predetermined rubric with dozens or hundreds of pages of information. Those were reviewed by many volunteer outside grant reviewers. Again, rated, issued a grade, and then funding was awarded accordingly. We would imagine that it would look something like that. And in the instance of the Invest in Innovation Grant Award in particular, a very finite amount of funds. They could only fund a small sliver of the people who proposed, but the competition to receive those funds really brought out the best in a lot of organizations that wanted to receive it and just gave us an unprecedented amount of information, both in terms of those programs themselves and the government's decision-making process. We need that here.
Ideally, how long would a process like that would take?
Well, you would hope 6 months, perhaps a year. Theoretically, each program would be notified based upon its previous year award amount as to whether it be eligible in the future year. Perhaps any state agency that wanted to bring forward a new proposal for a smaller or modest program would understand that this is a process they have to go through from the get-go, and hopefully that would help shape their thinking and the professionalism with which they design their programs.
Would you consider this as being similar to kind of what's going on with committee hearings, such like when because I was there when Human Services actually presented what they've been doing to a panel of lawmakers. Would it something be like that?
Well, ultimately, it'd be nice if there was a uniform process across departments, right? How do we compare a Board of Education program to the Historic Preservation Agency or supplemental appropriations to the Lieutenant Governor's office? In fact, these are all taxpayer dollars, and we need to make decisions about how we spend them. So having comparability across agencies there is important, but also an independence in the process from politics is very important as well. Committees, for better or worse, are staffed by folks who are seeking election in the next 1, 2, 3, 4 years, and that affects the decisions they make perhaps more than the merit of the programs themselves.